Hey there, fellow travelers, Mark here with Wolters World, and today we're in Bath, England, and today we're going to talk about something that sometimes hits travelers when they're going away for a while, and that is homesickness. You know, you may think, oh, I'm going on this great vacation for 2 or 3 weeks and I won't miss home at all. I'm going to see all these cool things, like when I'm here in Bath, I'm going to see the Roman baths and the Abbey that's here and go see the Georgian architecture. I'm not going to miss home. I'm not going to miss everything or anything. Well, the thing is, sometimes you do get homesickness, whether you're living abroad or just traveling abroad. And so what I want to do in today's video is just kind of talk about some of the ways you can kind of fight off homesickness when you do get it when you travel. And I think one of the ways to kind of fight homesickness is just kind of take your mind off it by going and see a movie. Yeah, I know it sounds silly, but going to see a movie, kind of checking yourself out of reality and just putting on a movie and watching a movie, whether it's going to a theater, like here in England, I can watch the movies in English, no problem. But if I go to Germany, well, the movies are in German. What do? Netflix and chill, baby. I mean, that's just it. You just sit back and relax and take in a movie and take time off. Because sometimes the homesickness is just you're so overwhelmed with seeing so many things. Just like I just want simplicity of life again. And so that's why sometimes just sitting down, watching a movie, great way to fight homesickness right there. Now, another thing you can do, and this is something actually Jocelyn and I did when we would get homesick when we lived in Portugal, is we would actually go to the Hard Rock Cafe and have food from home, because if I went to Hard Rock Cafe, I could get good chicken wings and a real burger versus the Portuguese style of hamburger. And that's just it. Sometimes just having food from home makes all the difference. I know my Italian students, when I've taught Italian students all around the world, when they get lonely and they miss home and they get homesick, they're going to find an Italian restaurant, and they find one that has good pasta, they're going there. But finding that food from home sometimes kind of, makes things a little bit better. We did that when we worked in China for a summer. Hitting up at TGI Fridays was just part of the thing. When we knew the kids were getting homesick, we were too. Let's go there, have some food from home. It's going to make life a little bit better. So another thing that can help you with homesickness is just going bowling. Like literally, go bowling. It sounds silly, but it's something that's so fun, so easy, so take your mind off of it. You're so concerned, how am I going to get that 7-10 split, that your homesickness kind of goes away. But it's also something you did back home as well, so it kind of gives you a little bit of home when you're there. And what I've found, if you're American traveling abroad, whenever there's a big bowling alley, they like to put that American food in there too, so you could have ribs and bowling. Like no joke, when I lived in Berlin, they always had rib night with bowling night, okay? So you can do that. That can help you out by just doing something from back home. And that kind of leads into another thing, which I think really helps with homesickness, is just go and do something that you do back home. If you're a gym rat, find a gym and get a day pass and go work out. If you're a comic book person, find a comic book shop and go in there. If you're a collectible person, go to the collectible store and spend some time in there, because it's something back from home, which some people think, oh, you do that, it's going to make you more homesick. No. It's just going to give you a taste of that back home so you can kind of get through that day, because homesickness is normal. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's just that's part of life. But the thing is, we start working on it and we start doing things about it. Like, okay, I've dealt with it, and then I can kind of move on to my next thing. Now, another thing you can do when you're traveling around, if you're missing home, I would say this: go to an Irish pub or a Chinese restaurant. Why? Because Irish pubs are all over the world, and Chinese restaurants are all over the world. And the food and drink they have at the Irish pub is the same pretty much everywhere you go in the world. And the food and drink they have at the Chinese restaurant is pretty much the same all over the world. So again, it's eating like you're back at home, it's experience like it back home, and that can help with that homesickness. And if you're going to be doing more than just doing a trip abroad, you're going to move abroad, another thing I recommend is finding groups in the community you're moving to. So for example, Jocelyn, which we lived in Lisbon, she joined the International Women's in Lisbon group. And this was just women from all over the world that were living in Lisbon. And so they had a common kind of thread together, and that helped them make a little bond. So kind of fought the homesickness because she had friends there, people she could relate to and share her stories with, her experiences with. And kind of going along with finding groups you can join up with, also I would say go to church. Literally, whatever your religion is, you want to go to the mosque, you want to go to temple, you want to go to church, find one of your religion and go there, because it gives you a little bit of peace and calmness inside. But also I find when you go to church, if you're a guest at a church, people are like, hey, what are you doing here? And it helps you meet people. And if you're living abroad, that can give you a nice base, like community and friends, to get to know more of the area. And that really can help. And also another thing you can do to fight homesickness is volunteer. Give back. Sometimes it's not easy to find volunteer gigs when you travel, especially, last minute kind of things, but that could be something you look into as well. So if you're living abroad, another suggestion I have for you to fight that homesickness is actually just go visit a country that reminds you of home. I know when Jocelyn and I lived in Lisbon for a number of years, whenever we got really homesick, we'd actually fly to London. I mean, it was super cheap to get there, but we'd fly to London just to go and have the English experience, the English language all the time, watching the BBC, going to eat food we knew from back home. That really kind of helps. So sometimes when you're living abroad, taking that vacation is actually a way to get away from that homesickness of moving and being away from home. Another thing you can do if you're feeling homesick is just call home. Honestly, just calling home, sometimes just hearing that voice makes you feel better. You know, when I travel on my own making my videos, I miss Jocelyn, I miss the boys, and so I give them a call a few times an hour or a day. Jocelyn be like, go film, stop calling me. But no, just having that voice, hearing the people back home can help. But I'm going to tell you this. Don't call people that you know are going to upset you. Because if you got someone like your mom or whatever, she's like, why did you leave? Why aren't you here with us instead? You didn't need to go to England. You could have just come to see us. That is not going to help your homesickness. Those people will make it even worse. Okay, so what you want to do is call a friend back home. One that's like, oh, dude, what are you doing on your trip? That's really cool. Tell me about it. Those are the kind of ones that can kind of help you with your homesickness, because you're like, yeah, I talked to my buddy Mike and he's pumped for my trip. And so I'm now pumped to learn more stuff about England when I'm here to share with him. And speaking of the sharing kind of thing, another thing that can help you with your homesickness is either journaling it or video recording it. You know, like make a vlog about your time. If you're homesick, hey, this is what I've liked about here. It's what I've not liked about here. You know, you might start your own YouTube channel just based from that. But honestly, sometimes just writing down your feelings about what you miss or how you feel can really help you fight that homesickness. So what are some of the things that you do to fight off homesickness when you travel or live abroad? Let us know in the comments below to help out other travelers that are fighting homesickness so we all can have a good time getting back to traveling and living abroad and fight off our homesickness. Bye from here in Bath, England.